Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and as we are approaching the winter solstice, I decided to do a review of the movie Bridesmaids. Or more accurately stated, I decided to ask a ton of questions about the movie Bridesmaids. As you can see here, I have a ton of questions about this movie. And if anyone out there would like to answer any of these questions, you can leave the answers to these questions down here in the comments below. Now keep in mind that after I ask all these questions, I will tell you what I think of the movie Bridesmaids. Let's see if you can figure out how I feel about this movie. Question number 1. Who is the guy and the lady at the beginning of the movie? After all, they didn't say their names very often, and I'm sitting here going, who are you guys? What are your names? What are your occupations? So on and so forth. I mean, I can go through a ton of questions on that. If you finally persuade a lady to be intimate with you, why would you suddenly ask her to leave without a good reason? Why did the lady think the aerobics instructor wouldn't notice her? Why would she think that the aerobics instructor would not notice her? I don't understand that. Didn't this lady know that the... Hang on. Okay. Didn't this lady know that the doors electronically open when she arrived at his house? Think about that. She should have known that. If she feels bad about seeing whoever it is every time she sees him, why does she bother seeing him? If she feels bad about seeing this guy every time she sees him, why would she go and see him in the first place? And if I stutter or stammer, bear with me. He just told a couple that they can't trust anyone. Okay, think about that. And she broke the cardinal rule of sales. Think about that one for a second. The lady gets a tattoo from someone she doesn't know. Why does she do that? I wouldn't do that. I mean, if you're going into a professional business, that's fine. But if you're just going to some stranger, are you kidding? No. Why does the lady grab a bag of peas instead of an ice pack? What, she doesn't have an ice pack? They're dirt cheap. Why does the lady wait so long to place something cold on her tattoo? I wouldn't wait that long. I've never had a tattoo, but if I did, I wouldn't wait that long to have an ice pack put on it. I guarantee you that. Do the other people at the AA meetings know that this mom somehow she doesn't consume alcohol? Okay, now here we go. She's driving a car with an unreliable starter. Are you kidding me? I'd get that fixed right away. I guess she doesn't have the same priorities as I do. And what mother discusses the sexual habits of her sons and daughters? Are you kidding me? Really? And why isn't her grandma supposed to have wine? That's never explained. How did the lady with the pins in her legs fall off the cruise ship? I'd like to know that too. How can you assess how great a person is when you've met them for the first time? How do you do that? I'd like to know that. Well, I finally found out that the lady at the beginning of the movie, her name is Annie. So, if Annie's car has a starter problem and she just lost her job, how could she afford how could she afford okay, let me say this again. If Annie's car has a starter problem and she just lost her job, how can she afford the gas to drive to the party? I'd like to know that one. Now, here's another one. Annie knows Spanish, and yet she is unemployed? Really? I'd like to know that one too. And then Annie bakes and decorates a cupcake just to turn right around and eat it herself. Really? Now, Helen's stepkids tell her off and she doesn't immediately ground them? What's up with that? Now, did Annie think that she could impress the police officer by dancing? Really? That amazes me. Annie's mother didn't loan Annie... Okay, and Annie's mother didn't loan Annie any money to fix the broken taillights or the starter? Really? What kind of a mother is this? Annie didn't elaborate on her high school tennis practice. I would love to know what... Did she ever participate in a match? Or did she just practice a lot? Was it for grades? She didn't elaborate on any of this. Now, how many years does a tourist visa last? I'd like to know that one. And why did Annie wait so long to protest this tourist visa? I'd like to know that too. Why did Annie agree to let Brittany stay in the first place? I'd like to know that one as well. She didn't really mention that either. Why should Annie leave a note on her door? Come on. That's disrespectful, I can tell you that. The lady didn't elaborate on what she did to her 9-year-old boy when he cursed out his mother. I mean, she said that her 9-year-old boy cursed her out, but she didn't elaborate on what she did to him afterwards. I'd like to know that. They are sitting on top of a recently driven police car. Now, did you see this? They are sitting on the hood of a recently driven police car, and the car hood isn't hot? Really? I'd like to know that one. They ate at a restaurant before they tried on their bridesmaids' dresses. Really? And what's more importantly here, it was a restaurant they didn't know very well. It wasn't like they read up on the restaurant first and then they went. They just sporadically go to this place. Now, if you want to do that, that's fine, but you don't go trying on bridesmaids' dresses after you've been to a restaurant like that. You don't know if their food is good or not. That's silly. That really is very, very silly. And then he said, and now here's the thing, he's a cop, but he's not a citizen of the United States? How's that happen? I'd like to know that. Now, he's allowing Annie to operate a radar gun while on duty? He even allows her to accompany him on an official police chase? Are you nuts? Really? And it's no wonder the 9-year-old boy cursed out his mother. She curses out her kids. Really? And here's another one. There's this lady on the plane, and she's talking about high-velocity projectiles on an airplane. Who does that? I mean, if she's talking to what she thinks is an air marshal, why, if that guy really had been an air marshal, she'd be under arrest right about that point. Really? Okay. And then Annie took a pill without even knowing what it was. Do you think I would take a pill without knowing what it was first or how it would affect me? Are you kidding? And then she drank scotch on top of that? Give me a break. Now, it was the airplane scene that finally got me to stop watching this movie. I'm not kidding you. Even Austin Powers was better than this movie. I didn't know very much about the characters. As you can plainly see from the questions, I didn't even know half these people's names, much less what kind of careers they were in, what distinguished them from anybody else. I was puzzled the whole time I was watching this movie. What's the deal? I couldn't keep up. This is an absolutely terrible movie. I am not kidding you. This is awful. Now, you're talking to a guy that has watched Airplane and The Naked Gun, and I've even watched some of the scary movies. Okay? And I can tell you, even with those, that had more intelligence than this thing did. This was an awful, awful movie, and I'm sorry that I watched it. So you want to know what I think? Well, that's what I think. So if you think you can answer any and all these questions, go ahead and leave the answers in the comments below. I'd love to see your answers, because that's a lot of questions. If you have to ask this many questions, and you're only, what, 2/3 of the way through the movie? Are you kidding me? Wow. So, as you can see, I really did not like this movie at all. It was just, alright. I will tell you more in a future video, so I would like for you to stay tuned.